Going to show you how to solve the problem that we have in task 4, which is your parents have decided to assign a cash value to grades in the DP results. And so how do we calculate it sort of automatically with a spreadsheet, and then we'll apply those ideas into our code. So this is basically another way of re-visualizing the problem, just so we're sure what we're talking about here. So I made a spreadsheet where the purple columns are the input, basically the given grade information. So I've just entered 6 groups there with some random grades, and as you can see, it updates automatically when over here. So with the 767654, I get $300 from my parents, and I can see the maximum I could get, which is $600. So it's basically, that's how it works. You can just input whatever else. You can put in more numbers if you wanted to, and it would all work. So how did I do this? So for the first thing I need to do is to figure out how to convert a grade into a dollar value on this side. And I do that by doing a lookup operation. I click on the cell, and you can see the formula here, VLOOKUP, meaning vertical lookup. So what does that do? It looks at the value in B2, which is the 7, and it maps it to the data that's in the tab points at the location of from A2 to B. And I'm just going to click over to where that is. And so this is the data point that it uses to look it up. So like I said, it had a 7, right? B2 is a 7. Yeah. And so it looks at 7. It says, okay, what's the item next to it? It's 100, and it returns that. And that's what VLOOKUP does. That's it. Vertical lookup. So it basically goes from looks vertically, goes across. There it is. That's what it does. And so I just do a fill down on this whole row, and it results in that. So I can change, it just automatically updates. Okay. Now in the blue part, I have basically the summary of the information that I've entered. So this formula just takes the sum of column B, pretty simple. The items, to count how many items I got, it takes this column B2, this column B, and it will count it as long as it's greater than 0. And it will tell me how many grades I have. The average would be by dividing the total by how many items there are, as you do with average. Okay, so here the yellow part is a frequency chart, and I start out. This is actually manually entered, and then this part is a formula in the cell. So it's looking at B2 again, and it's getting the frequency of that information, and it's sort of putting it into classes, where this is the definition of the classes, like the upper range and lower range, and it will tell me how many of those each are in. So I have 2 4s here. I have 1 3. I have 1 6 and 2 7s. Okay, so and then now obviously I need to get the total dollars, and the total dollars I use an if statement. The first thing I check is in the if statement is whether or not if J2 plus J3 is greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, that means that I have gotten a 0 or a 1 for my DP result, and in our problem, that means that the game's over. Like you go to jail, I don't know, you lose, whatever. Basically, so the parents don't want you to get a 0 or 1. If you do, you just forget it. So if you do get a 0 or 1, then it will print out game over into the cell. If not, if it's 0, then it will calculate the sum of the column C, producing the intended result. That's it.